and welcome back to the Cinema Asylum podcast. Today we are giving our Star Wars Day special, not to be confused with the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special. We'll get to you in November.
Great piece of cinematic history.
Oh, absolutely. Beats out Morbius.
And Madam Web.
So, I'm Dylan. I'm going to be leading this episode. If this is the first time that you're joining us, I am one of the two superhero sci-fi experts.
If this is the first time you're joining us, I apologize because you're about to get Dylan on a massive Star Wars tangent.
Yeah.
I am Matthew, the other superhero and sci-fi expert. Guess what? We're talking sci-fi. It's just the two of us again.
Yes, it is. Surprise. Nobody else likes Star Wars here. No, Matthew, tell me about your experience with Star Wars. I want, what got you into Star Wars? Well, I mean, obviously you're a big sci-fi fan, but did Star Wars come before that? Did sci-fi come before? You good?
I just wanted to make sure I hit record. I forgot if I hit record.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah, we recorded the whole episode, and it's not recorded.
Yeah, then we have to either do it again or not release this. Personally, I would like to release something.
Hashtag podcast problems.
We all struggle. But no, go ahead, tell me.
So, I hadn't really seen many bigger movies. I don't think I'd really see any, out of, typical kiddie movies at that point, like cartoons or whatever, Scooby-Doo. I think I was 8. Let's see.
Phantom came out in 99.
I was 8.
Okay.
I was at my friend Alyssa's house, and her brother Gabe and Malachi put on Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
I'd never seen Star Wars before. I watched it, and in hindsight, it's one of my least favorites now.
Understandable. I
but
get it.
It floored me. It absolutely floored me. My first experience with sci-fi outside of superhero sci-fi, like Superman cartoons.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And my first experience with space stuff, and it just floored me. It was at that point, that night, when I knew I wanted to do something with making movies later in life. Specifically, camera work was what I really wanted.
Yeah.
But because I was never into acting when I was little. I never thought I could be a good actor, but I've been taking pictures since I was.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted to do some kind of directing or something. That's what made me want to do it. Was
Attack
watching
of the
Star
Clones?
Wars. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So did Star Wars predate your love for sci-fi? Or?
Yeah, Star Wars was the first.
Okay.
My love of space in general came from Star Wars.
Okay. No, that totally makes sense. What kind of presence did Star Wars have in your life after that point? After you had decided, I really fucking like, I really like, I should say Griffin. It's more appropriate.
I bought all the VHS.
The gold. Did you have the gold box?
No, I had the '97 special with it was there was a stormtrooper on the front of one and it had blue writing.
Oh, I get you. Okay.
One
So
had pink writing.
yeah, so the very early special edition phase where it wasn't to where we know it to be today, but it was at that point.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Plot twist: Attack of the Clones was actually the last one I actually owned of the original 6.
Really?
Yes. I had the Phantom Menace in the original on VHS. Revenge of the Sith was supposed to be the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I did not get to go. It was Fantastic Four. That was my first movie.
It's still a good first movie.
Still a good first movie, not as good as Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bought Revenge of the Sith immediately in November when it came out on DVD.
Mm.
It was actually the very first DVD I ever owned.
Yeah, that's right.
And I bought Attack of the Clones. Actually, I didn't get Attack of the Clones till 3 years later. I got it for Christmas from my grandma. But that was the original 6 when I owned them. Only ones I ever seen in theaters were actually Force Awakens and Rogue One.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't get to see any 8, 9, or Solo in theaters.
You haven't been to any of the re-releases that they've
No.
had for TPM, the original trilogy,
No.
or anything like that?
They're not doing anything in Shelbyville, and like I don't with not having a car, I can't really
Well, yeah,
head out.
that makes sense. Okay.
But I'd love to see Revenge of the Sith when they release it.
Yeah, hopefully next year. But it's not looking like it. It's looking like they're going to do 25 years for each of the prequel trilogy. But
But yeah, Rogue One is actually the movie I've seen the most in theaters, at 3
Okay.
times. I'm not one to rewatch movies a bunch of theaters, but
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. You don't gotta brag.
honestly, of the movies I've seen in theaters, the ones I probably would have watched the most outside of Rogue One would be Wonder Woman, Power Rangers, and the Batman.
Okay, yeah, no, that's expected.
Yeah. Maybe No Home too.
Okay.
Guardians 3, I love it. I can't take it a lot of times in a row. It's too it's too depressing.
Yeah, well, man, and Revenge of the Sith isn't?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I was younger. Okay, well, I can't say that because I still cry like a baby every time I watch a movie. I cried like a baby when Padme died.
Yeah.
I can't really say I don't do that anymore though, because I still do.
Well, Padme's death gets poodooed on, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to use Star Wars terminology as
Yeah.
much as I can today.
Yes.
Yeah, Padme's death gets poodooed on a lot.
Yes.
And it's like, oh,
It's
well,
pretty bum bad.
that's really good. I like that. It's it's really bomb bad. That's really good. Damn it. It's people crap on it and they're like,
Yeah.
oh well, she died because she was sad. That's pathetic and that's bad writing. Blah 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 blah. People actually die from broken hearts. It's a full on thing. It's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Like it's a full thing, and I think that I understand some of the criticisms about Padme and Revenge. Like I definitely wish that there was a lot more that she would have done in it, other than just be Anakin's hot wife who's pregnant.
If you're using Star Wars terminology today, don't forget from I think it's the Young Jedi Order books, the ever famous blaster bolts.
No, one of my favorite Star Wars terms is choobies, which came from the book. I think it was 2014 or 2015. It was wrote to TFA, Lost Stars by Claudia Gray.
Okay.
If you start reading any of the canon books, I would recommend Lost Stars really well.
I want to read the old New Jedi Order books.
Yeah, those are really good. The Thrawn trilogy, the original.
Yeah, I want to read the
trilogy,
Thrawn ones. Yeah.
is good. I'm about to start reading the Dark Empire comics because it's Hot Toys from Sideshow Collectibles is releasing a new Dark Empire Luke, which I'd heard of Dark Empire before. I think I tried reading it once, but Dark Empire is basically Luke gets seduced to the dark side, and so he starts wearing like half of Vader's armor. It's really cool.
I'll mention this now. Please forgive me if it's not still available when we drop this tomorrow, because I'm going to put this up immediately after work.
Yeah.
On the Xbox store, they are having a sale on Star Wars games. They were still on sale as of earlier today.
Yes. A lot of places are currently have their Star Wars games on sale. A lot of places also currently only have it available until May 9th.
Okay,
so if anybody wants to check out any of the sales, I don't know if Xbox is going any longer. I've seen it with PlayStation. PlayStation ends 3 p.m. I think on the 9th.
Just to give a hint on some of them, the deluxe edition of the Skywalker Saga Lego is only $19.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order is $5 for the deluxe edition. Some of them are $1.99. All the other Lego games are $4. So like these are good sales.
Yeah. I was looking at one of the sales earlier because I own most of the Star Wars games on consoles today.
On Xbox, they have a lot of the rewinds.
Yes.
Like they have Knights of the Old Republic and Jedi Academy, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Yeah. I PlayStation might have those available too. But
I think they were only Xbox, some of them.
Well, I think that some of them might be the backwards compatibility that comes with.
That's what it is, yeah.
No, the PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay.
They have like backwards compatible titles with one of their subscriptions.
Okay,
one
they've
of
started
their
doing that
tiers.
now too.
Yeah.
Because I know Xbox has been doing it for a while.
Well, I think that PlayStation's been doing it for a while too. I just don't know exactly what all is on that catalog. I haven't looked at it. I know about all the ones that are on Xbox. I've been Xbox almost my entire life. I just recently started drifting towards PlayStation this past year. But you know, it's a great day to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a second. I want to introduce myself as a fan. No, it's the same way. Really early on. Like I grew up with the prequel trilogy. One of the earliest memories I really have, and one of the memories that I love reconnecting with today, is actually for my least favorite Star Wars movie, Phantom Menace, during the Gungan City battle. When the B1s and the B2s are all facing down against the actual Gungans, and they're throwing the explosives. Those big blue and purple explosives have always stuck out in my mind. I grew up loving Jar Jar too.
I'm not saying
Don't.
I'm
I
not.
know what you're saying. Don't.
that. I'm not.
Don't make a Chewies joke. No, I grew up with that. I gained a greater appreciation for Attack of the Clones later in my life. I grew up playing with my older brother. Shout out to my older brother. I won't name him just in case he doesn't want to be named. But shout out to my older brother because my older brother was one of the reasons why I really got into it. I'm on Do Not Disturb right now, man. I can't. Is it? Yeah. No. Blue Tubies. I get you.
Yeah.
Damn it. Growing up with my older brother, he had all the Star Wars stuff. And one thing that he had was, and this is one of my very first memories, was holding a extending double-ended lightsaber. It was Maul's from TPM. He actually got mad at me for playing with it.
As he should.
Yeah. We were gifted DL44s, like a laser tag set from the 80s. We were gifted that by our uncle, and we had them for a long time. We never had the working chess pieces. We had the chess pieces; they just didn't function.
Why would it be fun to have a blaster battle in the backyard one day after the podcast?
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. There's plenty of stuff out there that I think that we could get that would work. I think that you can still buy the same DL44 set that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can still buy those. I think that you can actually link those up so you could have multiple people using them.
Yeah.
Which would be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
because they're like full scale DL44s and everything.
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, we could have a laser tag battle in the backyard. That would be.
Oh, please! I'm so down for it.
You rebel scum are going down.
How much you want to bet? I'm a great shot. I grew up with that. I grew up with one of my favorite figures to grow up with. I had a lot of the Power of the Force figures, a lot of the Shadow of the Empire figures. But my favorite growing up with was the Swoop Bike Trooper, which was like a random fucking character that you can't find anything about.
Wait, the Scout Trooper?
No, not the Scout Trooper. No, that's different. Yes, they rode swoop bikes, but not the Scout Troopers. No, this was like a brown action figure. He had like a light brown chest piece.
Oh no, okay.
He had dark brown helmet. He had red lines going down across. He had like a black undersuit. He had like Scout Trooper boots, but he looked fucking great. I had him. I had that little figure up until like 5 years ago. Like I fucking loved it.
Next time we do a Star Wars episode, I'm going to pull out all my Star Wars action figures and line the table with them.
Oh, dude, I'll bring my Millennium Falcon, man.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I've only got one ship. I've only got an A-Wing.
Well, I want to get the...
and a speeder bike, but that doesn't count.
Well, I want to get the N1. I want to get the Razor Crest. I want to get the Ghost. I want to get... I want to get everything, man. If I had a lot of money, like money that, like, even if I donated to charity, it's still not burning a hole on... massive hole in my pocket. If I had that kind of money, I would go ham. I would buy everything Star Wars.
With Star Wars this week, you missed out on a great opportunity with that thing I sent you.
What?
The life-size Dalek.
Yeah, I'm a bit. Matthew sent me a listing for a life-size Dalek that was available for $300, and I've been I've been blowing a lot of money on Star Wars this past week.
For shame.
What
Everybody
do
type
you
for
mean for shame? Star Wars was my first love.
Everybody type for shame in the comments at this spot.
Hey, listen. I think that there's a lot more Star Wars fans than Doctor Who fans, which is saying something considering the fact that Doctor Who predates Star Wars by 14 years.
Who?
Shut up.
I know.
No,
I think we got off track a little bit.
yes, definitely.
Track.
You need to stop. I'm going to start taking stuff out of the spray bank. That's what I thought. You're at 365. You're now at what? You're now at what, like 178? That's about half, right?
No.
No. No. So I've grown up with Star Wars my entire life. I phased out a little bit. I didn't really get rejuvenated until Force Awakens came out. I went to see it with a massive group of my friends. I think there was like 15 of us roughly when Force Awakens came out, and we had a great time. We got dressed in these tiny little Jedi ponchos that some of us, it was like strangle on us, trying to like get them around our necks. And
Okay, that was not going where I thought it was going to go. I thought you were going to say you were wearing the Princess Leia.
No, none of us were doing that. I did have a friend who had a 12-inch Jar Jar doll that he went to see the movie with.
No, next Star Wars movie you could go as Princess Leia.
You know what? Listen, if I get fit enough, I'll go in the Hut Slayer outfit.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it. You know what? Screw it. As long as they let me into the theater, let me buy a ticket, let me sit down, I'll wear it. 100%. Just let me get in shape, which I'm training. We have an announcement sometime down the road where you'll figure out why I'm going to get into physical training. It's going to be fun. We're not talking about it, but it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for it. This is the kick in the butt that I really needed. No, I really got back into it when the sequel trilogy started coming out. Because we did that for Force Awakens, and then we did it the very next year for Rogue One. I didn't do it for Last Jedi. But then there was Solo, which I fucking love Solo. We were mostly in a theater by ourselves, but I think I saw it on IMAX. I loved it. I really got rejuvenated as a fan in a lot of different fandoms in the past 10 years, and Star Wars is a huge one. I just really love it. There's so much to love about Star Wars. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the people that talk so negatively about it, where they dwell on these things that they don't like about the franchise. When it's like, you could gush about everything you love, instead you're choosing to shit on Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi. Or you're deciding to be like, oh, well, Rey Skywalker's a Mary Sue. She's not. Also, she's a Skywalker. Deal with it. I don't know. I really love Star Wars, and it's hard for me to recognize why people would talk so negative about it, like, especially if they love it too. What?
Hashtag obliterate Solo too.
You better take that out in fucking post. I swear to God.
No, I'm good.
Listen. If you see any propaganda like that, it's from it's from the haters. It's from the fake believers.
Or is it from the Sith witches of Dathomir?
The Night Sisters. They put it all up. It's their campaign. It's a smear campaign against Han Solo for no reason. Just they're like, 12 parsecs? Nah, 13. That dude's a liar. Fuck him. They know he rounded down. No, I do. As much as I don't like the amount of negativity that comes from certain Star Wars fans, and you can find them on every single different side. It's not just the people who like or who don't like the sequel trilogy or don't like anything that's been released underneath the Disney banner. There's more fans than just that. It's just they're the immediate example for me because a lot more people have come around to the issues with the original trilogy and more particularly the issues with the prequel trilogy. Or more especially, I guess.
Millennium Falcon, no, Yearly Falcon. That wasn't a pun.
I know, but I want to take a point off anyway. You deserve it for earlier. Fuck you, 365.
No, thank you.
No, as much toxic negativity as there is in the Star Wars fandom, I fucking love Star Wars. There's some of my best friends, and like they could be listening to this episode. I don't know, but it's like they're my people. They love everything, and the stuff that they don't love, they don't talk about it. They're like, oh, this doesn't work for me, and then goes about their days. Like there's this user, Mads. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie. It's both of our favorite movie when it comes to Star Wars, right?
Yeah, when it comes to Star Wars, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I couldn't unless you're about to hit me with, actually, it's Rogue One, which would be understandable. Yeah, I figured.
And then Empire 3.
One of my mutuals, Mads, she doesn't like Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
She really doesn't like Revenge of the Sith. It doesn't work for her, and she also skips like the first 40 minutes of Return. She skips a lot up until they're on Endor. But she talks a lot of positivity, and like she loves Rey, and she talks a lot about Rey. She loves Han, she loves Leia. She really loves both the sequel and original trilogy, but pretty equally, it seems. But like she talks a lot of that kind of positivity, and then there are people who literally like only ever talk about positivity. Like if anybody's on Twitter, anybody's in the Star Wars community on Twitter, you probably know about I think her name's I think she goes by like OG Jenna. And then there's also JT Suggs. They're both super positive, and they get a lot of crap for it.
There's if you're on Instagram, there's Isabella Amadala.
Yeah, it's Isabella Rose is another huge Star Wars influencer on Instagram. She does a lot of cosplay too.
It might be the same person.
Is it? You're gonna have to send it to me. I'd recognize her. But I love the amount of positivity that there is in Star Wars fandom, and it's one of those like limitless things where if you're not one of those people that want to crap on the franchise that you've loved your entire life, if you're not one of those, no, it's somebody different. Okay. But no, plug her. I love everything that Star Wars has brought to us. I'm somebody who loves all Star Wars, even the stuff that I don't really like.
Yeah.
Like I'm not I said it on the main episode, which go check out the main episode. I gush about Star Wars just a little bit. So
go check the main episode when it's out. This is probably going to be out before the main episode.
Yes, it should be coming out the day after this.
Yeah.
We've also done other Star Wars episodes. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Just go. One of our earliest episodes was a Star Wars ranking.
So we're gonna start by doing. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna put you on the spot for a minute.
Okay.
We're gonna start doing a lot more content soon. Comment on this video if you think we should get like a little mini 5-minute episode every week from Dyllan. Just something positive about Star Wars.
Yeah, dude, I would love that. Holy crap! I would absolutely go gaga for that.
Just a little 5 to 10 minute Star Wars video each week, like something positive.
Yeah, I really do love Star Wars. I think that there's not enough positivity in the fandom. I feel like it's a lot of fans going at each other's throats, and part of it's online culture.
Yeah.
But it is really depressing because there's so much good in Star Wars. Again, Rogue One was one of my least favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
It was. If I had to give my ranking, the bottom ones.
Yeah.
If I had to give my rankings, which again, if you're not, if this is the first time that you're joining us, the way that I do my rankings is that I do my rankings both based on entertainment and the technical.
Yeah.
It's a combination of the two, and it like fluctuates between projects. Example, Oppenheimer, I think is an amazing movie. But I didn't enjoy it. It was not for me. I was not entertained. I felt like I wasted 3 hours of my life. But I can come out of that movie saying good things about it.
I'm that way with The Last Jedi to an extent. Like,
well, yeah,
it's a really good movie. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's a great film, but you don't like it as a movie.
Yes.
That's one distinction that I like to put into talking about movies is if I talk about movies from a subjective point, I say that's a good movie.
Yeah.
If I liked it. However, if I'm talking objective about it, I say that it's a good film.
Yeah.
I think that's a great distinction.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are a lot of people that are like, oh, well, this is a bad movie
Right.
for a lot of different things. Star Wars is no different.
Right.
But for a lot of different things, and that's the reason why anytime that I talk about movies, I try to only talk about movies. If I refer to something as a film, that's me trying to remove everything from it.
Yeah.
Last Jedi is a great fucking film.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, same as Rogue One. That's the reason why I think that Rogue One and Last Jedi, I'll say, are tied for first, or for like, this is the best Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own best movie, but I think that those are tied for best film
For Star Wars, yeah.
for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think Last Jedi is the better one.
Just like getting into superheroes, like Endgame might be the best movie, but Dark Knight or Spider-Man 2 or Logan are best film.
Yes.
Joker, yeah.
Throw No Way Home in there. It fucking deserves that.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
Give some respect.
Well, I
know you didn't like that trilogy, but give it some respect.
I love No Way Home, but not to get too off topic here, but I feel like The Dark Knight, Logan, Spider-Man 2, and Joker are like, they're not just superhero films, they are like Oscar Best Picture category films.
Yeah, no,
like,
I completely see that.
The quality is more than just your typical blockbuster.
Yeah.
No Way Home's great, but like, it's not the level of like award-worthy level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see what you're going for.
Like the type of film, it's still made for the blockbuster audience.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's not like a Oscar type movie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Honestly, that sentiment especially, I can. Again, I love the sequel trilogy. I really, really do. And I was saying something earlier, but
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Just on that sentiment, I think that The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, which I fucking love Rise of Skywalker. I think that of the three movies in the sequel trilogy, it's my favorite. But I feel like the two Abrams movies are kind of like that, where like they were made to be blockbusters, but they're not. They're not really Oscar winners. Yeah. And if they were to win Oscars, which I think Rise of Skywalker didn't it win it for score?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I
but
think.
To be fair, Star Wars is more of a blockbuster franchise. It's not really.
Well, yeah,
made
no,
to
it's
be
never
like
been
that.
like an Oscar thing.
Yeah,
they've always been snubbed and stuff for reasons.
Star Wars is more a blockbuster where it's more the hard sci-fi that are the Oscar.
Yeah.
Arrival, Interstellar.
Well, I think that when it comes to like that kind of art film, The Last Jedi fits the criteria. It fits the bill.
It fits it best.
Yes. Of that trilogy, at least.
Still not saying I agree, but it does fit it best. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel I would apply that sentiment there, where I do think that The Last Jedi was the one that should have won an Oscar for something, because I think that they did a lot with it. I think that Ryan went way out of the box, and it only benefited the movie, in my opinion.
Rise was actually nominated for 3 Oscars.
Was it? For what?
Best score.
Okay.
Best visual effects.
Okay.
And best sound editing.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. All right.
I'm looking up The Last Jedi.
I don't think Last Jedi got anything. It might have gotten a score nomination. Yeah, I can't remember.
My fingers are fat and the keyboard is small.
But no,
Go
ahead.
It got nominated for even more.
Really?
4.
Well, was it the same 3 and then an additional?
We'll find out in a second. And then I'm still gonna look up Rogue One too.
Okay.
I don't think Solo got nominated for anything.
No.
Or Force Awakens.
Nope.
Visual effects.
Well,
Score. Sound editing. Sound mixing.
Okay.
And
yeah, look up Force Awakens while we're at it. Fuck it.
Okay. I'm gonna actually put this down so I can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Solo didn't get anything, or didn't get a nomination for Oscars. I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Maybe a Razzie.
Yeah, might have gotten a Razzie. I could see that.
I could see it.
Yeah, as much as I love that movie, I could see them getting a Razzie for it. Just the culture around it.
So it's dropped one each sequel trilogy. Rise had 3, Last had 4.
And TFA had 5?
Yeah.
What was the additional one? I can only assume that it was the same category as before.
Film editing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then
Yeah, I could see the film editing aspect of it, yeah.
I feel like the only one that could have got cinematography, because cinematography is a huge thing for me, obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like Last Jedi is the only one that could have got cinematography.
Yes. 100%.
Maybe Rogue One.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Rogue One and Last Jedi are the ones that are the most Oscar worthy for today, at least.
Rogue only got 2 Oscar noms.
Oh, that's a fucking bummer. Was one of them the score?
It has to be. Hold on, it's loading. Why is it not loading? No. Sound mixing and visuals.
Real? Okay, the visuals I see.
The visual effects. Yeah.
Really? Well, especially like the Jedi sequence in Rogue One.
Yes.
Like that definitely earned the Oscar nomination.
It should have got the cinematography though. For the
Yes. Yeah.
I can't think of the planet's name.
Are you talking about the one that Galen Erso was on,
No.
or one of the two ones?
The end planet.
Oh, Scarif.
Scarif, yeah.
Yeah.
The beach scene.
Yeah.
Like the cinematography and that's great.
Yeah.
Like them running along the beach and stuff.
Yeah. It's fucking amazing. I feel like another one that they don't really think about when it comes to that is the Imperial research lab.
Yeah.
That gets blown up by the Rebel Alliance while Galen's there, and Galen
I can't think of
dies.
that planet either.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. Again, I talked about it a little bit on the main episode, but I'll go into a little bit more here. Every time that I rewatch Rogue One, I like it more.
Yeah.
I've done everything that I can to appreciate it and to enjoy it more. I've been reading. I read the tie-in novels. I like I like Andor a lot. Andor was my second favorite character to come out of Rogue One, next to Chirrut.
Yeah.
I've been trying to enjoy Rogue One a lot more because I want to know what everybody sees.
Yeah.
First of all, I see how amazing a film it is.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my god, it's awesome.
Oh. Yeah.
Praise Ashla. It's. I love it.
I think my friend Hector, he has a book series that he does. I think he actually has a segment on Rogue One.
Really?
He does a devotional series called Faith and Fandom.
Okay.
If I think he has one, I'm assuming it's going to be on the one with the Force is with me part.
Yes, probably Chirrut
About the power
and
of
the
prayer.
Guardians of the Will. Yeah.
But yeah, like I thought that when I watched it, like them talking about like the power of prayer, essentially. Not to get too far into it, but yeah, like.
Well, I will talk about it just a little bit because that is there's a lot of stuff. Again, there's a lot of stuff about Star Wars to love. The mystic aspect of it is actually something I really like.
Yeah.
And it's something that I like that we're exploring even more in current Star Wars media.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much what we're seeing on screen, but also like the books and the comic tie-ins, and where they're exploring that a lot more.
Right. Star Wars was always mystic, but it's getting more into more stereotypical religious aspects now.
Yeah.
Like we talked about doing our Mandalorian reviews.
Yes.
They really got into baptism.
Yeah. Yeah, they're painting it way more as religion than they used to.
Yeah.
And considering the fact that they're referred to in universe as space monks.
Yeah.
Is only like reinforcing of that idea.
Right. Yeah.
It's I do like that. That's one part of the Star Wars universe that I really like because it shows like these people believe in this thing, and these people that's how they find their meaning in life, and it's a great parallel, and it's I don't know. It's just one of my top things about Star Wars. I like that kind of storytelling in it, and I like the outer perspective storytelling. Like one of my favorite books is Force Collector. It was the Path to Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Kevin Shinnick wrote it, I think.
Okay.
I love it. I want to see the return of the main character. I'm spacing his name. But he's a Force sensitive, but he's not Force sensitive enough to be a Jedi.
Okay.
He's Force sensitive in the same way that Maz Kanata is in Force Awakens.
Okay.
Yeah, because he even goes to her in the book, and she's like, "Ah, you're like me, like you're sensing all the stuff," and like he talks about it, where her temple on Takadana is built on the site of a Force user graveyard, basically. Like her temple's built on catacombs.
Yeah.
And so like there's a segment of the book where he's going through and he can feel it.
Yeah.
So he feels like the walls closing in around him. He feels this pressure like sandwiching him almost.
Yeah.
And he like blacks out from it, and Maz is like, "You gotta take care. Like this is very overwhelming. I understand like what you felt and all this other stuff." And it's great. I highly recommend that book if you can't tell.
Yeah. As we're talking about this a little bit, if you, I want to do special episodes once in a while, like little mini episodes.
Okay.
Obviously, we love Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah.
Would you guys like to see? This would not be like a essential to our main podcast episodes, because this is more for a select audience. Would you like to see us doing an episode, like we try not to talk too much about politics and religion?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you like to see an episode where we discuss the religion in Star Wars?
Honestly, I'd be completely down for it.
If you guys like that, comment on this video saying yeah, we'd like that.
Yeah, please do. Any opportunity to talk more about Star Wars.
I feel like in that case that would be like a exception, like doing a video, like a one-off video on the religion of Star Wars, or in comic books, doing a religion in comic books.
Yeah,
I feel like
honestly,
those would be fun episodes to like kind of. They wouldn't be essential episodes, so if you didn't want to hear that stuff, you wouldn't have to check it out.
right, and we probably wouldn't reference it a whole lot other than plugging it on other episodes.
Right, yeah.
But
I feel like that would be like kind of like a deep dive, fun extra thing to do.
yeah, honestly, I would love to do that. Honestly, if there's any other Star Wars creators that are watching this or listening to this right now, reach out to us because we'd love to have you on an episode. If not for something like that,
We can get like a Zoom
then
call
something else.
going
Yeah,
and have you guys join in.
yeah. There's plenty of people that I personally want to reach out to.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm going to. There's one I really have in mind. I think he'd love to. But personally, I'd love to do that. What was I gonna say?
Let's plan that before the Acolyte if we can.
Huh?
Let's plan that the weekend before the Acolyte if we can. Oh, that's
Yeah?
probably the weekend before the Acolyte ends. We
Okay.
really don't have time to figure it out before then.
Yeah.
The week before the finale of the Acolyte. Or the
Okay.
week of
So
the finale,
so like
yeah.
sometime in July.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm down for it. Yeah. Crap. I can't remember what I was saying.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
I gotta go do something.
I guess I'll just like start a new topic of it.
We can probably get on to like what you wanted to discuss because it's already been like 45 minutes.
Yeah. So, Acolyte's coming out June 4th. If you don't know anything about Acolyte, Acolyte takes place about 100 years before New Hope. I believe it's New Hope. It takes place about 100 years before New Hope. It takes place during the end of the High Republic era, which, if you don't know anything about the High Republic era, the High Republic era is a multimedia event. Acolyte is only one part of it. They've also been doing multiple comic series across the three phases of content. There was the first phase, second phase, third phase. The first one was the middle of the story, I guess, is the best way to put it. The second one was basically a prequel to the first phase, and then the third phase is what follows it up. The second phase up at the end of the story. Acolyte is the very end of all of it. One of the main characters that we see in the Acolyte trailers are a Green Mary Allen named Vernestra Rowe, nickname Vern. I'm sure that there's some THR people that are mad at me right now. But yeah, call her Vern. She's a huge character in the cross media campaign, the event. The second trailer I'll get to in a moment. Honestly, I really want to talk about the special look that was at the end of the Phantom Menace re-release from this week. Which during it really embellishes on the or elaborates on the scene that we see of Carrie-Anne Moss's character, Master Indara, and the fight between her and the assassin. I believe her name is May. Um, it shows a lot more of that fight. I don't think it showed the entire fight. I doubt it. It seemed a little edited down. But it showed a lot more of that fight, and then after it showed that fight, it showed it showed basically the rest of the first trailer. It's oh my gosh, it looks so good. I love I love the martial arts that we're getting in this. As somebody who really does like martial arts films, I really love that. Honestly, I like the demonstration of Master Indara's character. I like it shows her mastery of martial arts, and it shows her resourcefulness. It shows the fact that she doesn't use the lightsaber as a first response, which a lot of Jedi that we've seen across the years, in the 47 years that we've had Star Wars, that is a first response for most Jedi we've seen. It's switch your lightsaber first, ask questions later, but that's not the Jedi. The Jedi is about solving it without causing harm, or at least only ever causing harm when it is the only option. That's what being a Jedi is about, or at least it was before the prequel trilogy, before the fall of the Jedi, which is what the prequel trilogy is now known as in the new canon. Or technically only canon. But I won't get into that. It's that's what it's about, and the fact that we're about to see like how they were at the peak of who the Jedi were. Like the THR is all about, this is who the Jedi is. This is exactly what they were supposed to be. This is exactly how they were supposed to operate. This is what they were supposed to act like. To see them before Palpatine got his shadowy hands clutched around the fate of the Jedi Order. Seeing that, or up to this point, reading it, it has been amazing. And it's such a good time to be a Star Wars fan. There's so much content out there, and Acolyte only makes me even happier about it, because this is a new era we haven't seen yet. Like, which we're getting that Mangold film about the very beginning of the Jedi Order.
The Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And Mangold directing.
Yeah. It's going to be really good. I like the fact that we're exploring these eras, like stuff that we haven't seen in new canon.
Do I have hope, then, for what I want?
What do you want exactly?
A Darth Nihilus horror miniseries.
To get that is a tall order, I think.
I think we're getting closer, though, by doing the Dawn of the Jedi.
We're definitely getting way closer on it. Not only because of the fact that we're getting Dawn of the Jedi, but also the fact that they're referencing stuff from KOTOR.
Yeah.
Like we're getting stuff from that era in canon.
I'm gonna stomp on your parade for a minute. I heard you make a mistake.
What?
About Star Wars.
What?
You said 100 years before A New Hope.
Yeah.
It's 100 years before The Phantom Menace.
Is it before Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Okay.
I get to correct Dyllan on Star Wars. Mark this on the calendar.
Well, I couldn't remember if it was Phantom Menace or if it was New Hope. I just thought that it was 100 BBY. I don't know why. I keep thinking 32 BBY and then 100 BBY. I'm not.
You
I'm
just
not
got disrespected.
Yeah, I like that we're doing all this new era exploration, and I think that we are way closer to getting something like a Nihil miniseries. Honestly, I expect Revan first.
Yeah.
That's what I expect first and foremost, especially since Revan was. I'm pretty sure between the two, Revan's the only one that's actually been talked about in canon, in anything.
Okay.
Like, not like, because the only reference that we really have towards Revan, I think, we might have gotten a second or third reference since then, was in Rise of Skywalker. One of the fleets was named after Revan.
Okay. Could you imagine like a Nihilus and like with the whole like soul thing? Can you imagine like kind of like a Conjuring inspired a little bit, like a little?
Yeah. No, I can see it. Yeah. You like that, Paul? Yeah,
They have the potential to make that terrifying.
They could. Honestly, I think that they're starting to really lean into these multiple genres, which I think that they need to with Star Wars. There is so much different kind of Star Wars than just like do good Jedi swinging their lightsabers. And
Paul-
we got that a little bit with Rogue One and got that a little bit with Solo, but
Paul might disagree with us, but he's not in the room, so he doesn't count right now. I really do think sci-fi and horror kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So having horror elements in Star Wars makes sense.
Well, I mean,
Space is unknown.
they're not afraid to go to it.
Right.
Like, we're getting it with Acolyte. Honestly, they've done it more with...
We got it with Rogue One.
Yeah, we got it with Rogue One a bit.
The Darth Vader scene.
Yes. Well, I mean, at that point, we kind of also got it with Mandalorian.
Right.
With the final... with the Luke saving Grogu scene.
Yeah. Rogue One was the first live-action thing, though.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, Clone Wars had the zombie episodes.
Yes. The Geonosis like brain worms thing was
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like that was straight up horror.
It was awesome, is what it was. I think it worked out really well.
It did,
and like we got that across 2 episodes, I think.
I think.
Well, no, there was one main horror episode, then there was a setup
aftermath,
for it.
or setup,
we also get it. You also get it a little bit with Rebels with Ezra's Force visions, where he's confronting the Grand Inquisitor in the temple on Lothal.
I need to rewatch Rebels again.
Yeah, right.
It's so good.
I love it. It's my favorite anime show of all the ones that we've gone. Like I love Visions. I love Bad Batch.
I've only seen Clone Wars and Rebels.
About a little bit more. Watch all of it. It's really good. Me personally, I wasn't a big fan of Resistance. It definitely got a lot better in the second season for me.
Yeah, I heard Resistance isn't that good.
Well, there's a lot of people that really love Resistance, so I think it really is like a taste thing. Like
I heard like the biggest issue with Resistance is it actually does feel childlike
compared to more so than
Clone
others.
Wars and Rebels,
yes. Yeah, I could agree with that because
it actually does feel like a kids show.
Well, I mean, there's a bit more slapstick in it first and foremost. There's more slapstick in it, which is impressive with the slapstick that's in Rebels.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of slapstick in Rebels.
But it still doesn't detract from it being a serious thing.
No, it doesn't. Which same for Resistance.
Okay.
Resistance has its serious moments, especially once you get into season 2. Season 2 has a lot more of it.
So you got your Bad Batch review and
Bad Batch ended this week.
Yeah,
or technically this previous week, on the 1st. Holy crap! I haven't been a big Bad Batch fan. I've gone gaga over episodes. I've really loved it. Growing up as a prequel fan, we both did. Growing up as a prequel fan, it was everything that I would have wanted. Like I know that there's plenty of people that are like, oh my gosh, the prequel era, this sucks. Bad Batch is the end of it. It's the very beginning of the original trilogy era, and honestly, the way that they managed to meld the two is beautiful. It also makes you care about these characters that would have otherwise been one-off characters in the Clone Wars, and I feel like it also doesn't fall for the same trap that some other Star Wars content goes for, which my personal hiatus for talking about spoilers for something is 3 days. We're past that. I'm going to fucking talk about it. Tech stayed dead from the second season. That's great when it comes to Star Wars, because there are so many characters that return. Having a character that's a clone return that way after we already had something like that happen would have sucked. We had that with Echo. Echo returns. He joins the Bad Batch. We thought that he fucking died. No, he returned. If we would have gotten that with Tech, I don't think that... I don't know. It would have not felt great. Yeah, it would have been nice to have the family back together for one last adventure. Or it would have been nice to have them all reunited. Because they retire after in the series finale. The series finale, the very end of it, is the youngest of the Bad Batch, Omega. She grows up. And they all settled down on this little quiet ocean planet. And I mean it. It's a happy ending in the best way. like 15 years goes by, and Omega, she tries leaving, and Hunter's like, "Oh well, my senses have faded, but just because that's happened doesn't mean that you can't get by me still, and all this." And Omega's like, "I understand, but I need to join the rebellion. They need pilots now more than ever." She's like, "I need to join up," and it only makes me wonder, when's the next time that we're going to see Omega? There's no way they kill her off. Not in the original trilogy era. Not during the reign of the Empire. They're not going to kill her off during that. There's no fucking way. But honestly, I would also not be surprised if we never saw her again, or at least not for another 5 years.
Possibly in Ahsoka.
I could see a reference to her in Ahsoka.
Yeah. Since Ahsoka's kind of like the Clone Wars sequel.
Yeah. Well, like Ahsoka was the Rebel sequel. Like it just was.
Yeah,
like that's what it's
Rebel,
supposed
sorry.
to be. Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
No,
I'm being corrected.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to do a little softer than you did me. Jesus.
Nerf herder.
Who are you calling scruffy looking?
It is now 12 o'clock almost. We're unhinged right now.
Listen, I've been unhinged for the past week.
Yeah.
It's been Star Wars 24/7, which it's that way for a lot of people their entire lives. It's just I have ADHD. I hyper focus, and even though I love Star Wars on my off or non Star Wars days, even though I really love it on my non Star Wars days, when I'm really hooked into Star Wars, I'm really hooked into Star Wars. No, I could see Omega coming about if they do a sequel era project, or well, beyond Mandalorian, beyond Ahsoka. Like if we were to get the Rangers of the New Republic, we were supposed to get that, which now they're kind of folding it into other projects, and it's kind of a bummer. But people got to ruin shit. I'm not gonna say who, but if you're watching this as a Star Wars fan, you probably know who I'm talking about. People got to ruin shit, unfortunately. But honestly, in like a project like that, they could honestly bring back Ranger of the New Republic. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know what they were planning on doing with it, but they could bring it back. And honestly, I could see Omega being part of it. And honestly, I would love for Omega to be part of it. Cast somebody as adult Omega in the sequel era.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. Confirm that she was there for the Battle of Exegol. Something. Bad Batch just... It was really, really amazing. And that style of animation has never looked better than the series finale of Bad Batch. And we've gotten multiple shows with that style. We've gotten Tales of the Empire now. We've gotten Tales of Jedi. At some point, I'm sure I'll mention my Tales of the Empire review. I still haven't seen it. I've been super busy with every other Star Wars thing. We've gotten those. We've gotten Clone Wars, obviously. Now we've gotten Bad Batch, and I'm sure that we're going to keep getting additional shows set in that era, even though I kind of hope not. I hope that the Bad Batch is the end of that era when it comes to on-screen storytelling.
I'm hyped for the more unexplored areas, post Episode 9, pre-Episode 1.
Yeah.
Post Episode 6, because there is that 30 years in between 6 and 7.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We don't have a whole lot of sequel content.
Right.
We actually just this past year. Yes, I think it was this past year. We finally, holy crap, finally got our first post Rise of Skywalker content, and it was a mini story in a comic. Which, while it was good because it was the burial of Snap Wexley. Tem and Snap Wexley. It was the burial of him by Black Squadron.
Okay.
Which is Poe Dameron's squadron, if you didn't.
Yeah.
I need more. I need more. We do have sequel era content. Personally, I consider anything that takes place after Return of the Jedi as sequel era. So we got
Mandalorian.
We got
Ahsoka,
Mandalorian. We got Ahsoka.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett. When it comes to the books, we've gotten the Aftermath trilogy. We got the Alphabet Squadron trilogy. We got Bloodlines. We got Last Shot. I think that we need to get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like we got Resistance. I need to mention Resistance
Yeah.
too because it does deserve merit. Even though I'm not a big fan
Right.
of it. I honestly I just love the way that Star Wars storytelling is
Yeah.
going. I know that there are people that aren't a fan of it. Garrett is the voice of that on here. He's
Right.
not a big fan of the way the Star Wars is going. Me personally, I am. I do like it. I talked about it a couple episodes ago where I was talking about how everything ties in. Example being the fact that people were complaining about not watching Book of Boba Fett, and then they go to watch season 3 of Mandalorian. They're like, well, what the hell? I defend that kind of storytelling where it's interconnected because it's a shared universe. If you have Disney Plus and you're watching Mandalorian, there's no reason to not watch Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
Or even just watch the one episode of Book of Boba Fett that you need to finish the Mandalorian story. I love what they're doing. I like how they're connecting everything. They're tying everything in really well. We were getting tiny little nods early on. For example, I was talking about the High Republic era earlier, which Acolyte is the end of.
Yeah.
I was talking about that earlier. I'm pretty sure the first in-canon reference to the High Republic was a book that came out in 2017, 2018, something like that. It might have been 2019.
Okay.
It's called Dooku Jedi Lost, and it's a audio play or an audio drama, and they released a script for it. And I've only really read the script, but they mention a Jedi named Keeve Trennis, if I remember correctly. I haven't quite gotten to the comics of THR yet. I'm kind of waiting to get to the end of the phase of the main books, and then I'm doing the comics.
Okay.
I'm trying to make my way through it before Acolyte because I got really behind.
Yeah.
But that was just like a random reference by Kevin Scott back in 2019 or 2018 and 2019. It was just a random reference from him. And look at it, like 3 years later, look where the High Republic is.
Yeah. And
they do all sorts of stuff like that. And I also really like how they're expanding the sequel era the same way that the Clone Wars expanded the prequel era. Project Necromancer was a thing in season 3 of Bad Batch.
Okay.
Well, I guess technically it was all throughout, but they labeled it. And Project Necromancer is also labeled in Mandalorian in season 3.
Okay.
The Shadow Council, the Empire.
Yeah.
That are working with Gus. Gideon. Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
They mentioned Project Necromancer. Actually, specifically, Hux, his father, is the one that talks about it the most, I think.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I might not be. It's been a minute since I've seen season 3. I haven't done a rewatch yet, which is weird for me. Yeah. No, I love what they're doing. It just goes to show that Lucasfilm and their story group, it's never been a better time for them.
Right.
It hasn't been. I kind of made a passing remark earlier about canon, and that was in regards to there was only ever one true canon before Disney bought Star Wars, and it was Lucas canon.
Yeah.
So that was like everything that he touched, really.
Yeah.
Aside from the made-for-TV movies,
right?
The 2 Endor ones, and then the holiday special. But he personally retconned that one.
Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up. Do you have any final things you want to talk about? Or should I just get to my final question I have?
I really love Star Wars. It's been such a great May the 4th. There's been so many great sales. There's been so many great products. Personally, I'm a Legacy lightsaber collector, and the fact that they added so many new ones to the shop for May the 4th is amazing. I got to buy You guys have never seen my glasses, but I'm wearing C3PO glasses by Diff Eyewear. I love them. I really do. I've been wearing these pair for the past 2 years, I think.
I never noticed they were C3PO glasses.
Yeah, they are. I'll have to show you them after the podcast. There's
Yeah.
there's little details I really like about
Okay.
them. They released a new collab for May the 4th,
Yeah.
and I've been wanting to get prescription sunglasses, where they release sunglasses based off Annie's pod racing helmet from Phantom Menace.
I need to get like Darth Maul glasses.
I'm pretty sure they have some. I'm pretty sure they might have just came out with them because of the 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
I know that they got Mace Windu ones that I also really like. But I just
Does it say Mother Effer on the side?
dude, I wish. Bamf. I just this May the 4th has been the best May the 4th in my opinion, and granted I haven't really had a whole lot to do. Like I don't have a whole lot of IRL friends to do Star Wars stuff with. My Star Wars friends online don't personally talk a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's really just us sharing our thoughts online and then reacting to each other's thoughts.
Yeah.
Even with all that, even only being in a theater with like 8 other people to watch Phantom Menace on the big screen again in 25 years, it's so great to be a Star Wars fan. Again, there's so much great content. There's so much so many great products out there, and I'm not normally one to promote capitalism. Not saying anything else. I'm not one to promote capitalism normally, but we are so well fed as Star Wars fans. We really truly are. It doesn't matter which era of Star Wars you love. There's content for it. Yeah, there's less content for the Old Republic, but we're still getting that stuff. Like the KOTOR remake is still happening, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we're getting more and more.
Yeah, it's
They got what they started with, and now they're branching out.
Yeah.
Disney.
It's just amazing. I love it so much, and the fact that I'm getting Star Wars is getting me back into reading. I used to love reading as a kid, and Star Wars is making it happen. And it's such a great day to be a geek, but it's especially such a great day to be a Star Wars geek. And honestly, I'm so happy that Star Wars exists. Thank you, George Lucas, and thank you everybody who has ever contributed to Star Wars, because holy crap, it's such a major part of my life. And the fact that Matthew, I gotta thank you, because you're giving me a platform for me to talk about Star Wars. I don't know why you did that, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I'm really glad we did start this podcast.
Yes, it's so nice to talk about stuff like that. Like just talking about what we talk about in general is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just such a great day to be a nerd. I'm living for this era of content right now. I really truly am, and I cannot wait for us to get to Acolyte. I can't wait to do that. The second trailer looked criffing amazing. I caught myself right before the second letter. The second trailer looked amazing. I can't wait to learn more about that Sith. Dude looks crazy. If that ends up being Plagueis, I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't think it is. I think that's the person who came before Plagueis, actually. Especially with it taking place in 132 BBY.
Yeah. So my final question: of the projects announced, what is your most anticipated?
You answer that question first.
Dawn of the Jedi.
Okay. Respect. Out of everything that's been announced, God, that's really difficult.
Because I feel like Dawn of the Jedi is so far removed from everything else.
It is.
It really is uncharted territory.
It absolutely is. I'm so down for it. I can't wait to see what they're going to do, because I just these past few weeks I've been thinking about it a bit more, and I've been thinking about what exactly they could do. Like, did they start with lightsabers, or did they eventually get to that point? Like, is this going to be them discovering the proper use of Kyber? Because it's been stated in the Star Wars universe that Jedi/Force users in general are really the only people who know how to properly apply Kyber. Like, It wasn't until Galen Erso that they really applied it to a whole lot of anything else, especially to anything that scale.
Right.
It just makes me wonder if it's going to explore that, if it's going to explore the first lightsabers, if it's going to explore Kyber, because Kyber has been getting elaborated on a lot on recently, like how Kyber has its own mind,
Yeah.
which we saw a little bit of in Clone Wars when you watch the Padawan arc.
Right. I'll just bring up this one point real quick before you do yours.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there like sometime in the Old Republic like a great Jedi versus Sith war?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind seeing that as like a mini series.
Yeah. There was
or maybe a multi-part movie.
You actually see the grounds of like the final days of that fight, I think, in Rebels, if I remember correctly. I'm not super big on Legends. I've taken in Legends content. I know about other Legends content, so I could be mistaken. I could be misremembering something. But they go to Malachor at the end of the second season of Rebels. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Malachor is where the Sith detonated the bomb in the temple that killed like all the Force users around it, both Sith and Jedi.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Malachor and Legends. I think that's the same thing.
Could you imagine if we got like a 2-part like Infinity War Endgame type movie like that?
Oh, dude, that would be so good. Holy crap! Let that follow at some point Mangold's film.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so down for it. I believe that Star Wars is more than just swinging around lightsabers, but Star Wars is especially Star Wars when it's swinging around lightsabers.
If he would do it, have Christopher Nolan do those two.
I could see him doing that, actually. I could see him joining on for something like that, because that's like a huge thing.
Him and Jonathan together.
Yeah. Holy crap. I'm sold. 100%. I'm not a Christopher Nolan fan, but I would turn out for that movie 100%. I think that he would be the guy to do it.
Yep.
So
you figure out what your project is?
There's too many good ones that are coming out. If I had to pick one, I think that it would be the new Jedi Order. Okay. I think it would be Rey's movie.
Okay.
I like everything else that we've got announced. I'm still holding out hope for Rian Johnson's trilogy, because I love Last Jedi. It's not my favorite.
Right.
It's not even my favorite sequel film. But I love what Rian Johnson did with it. I love the way that he treated the mythos, because he did treat it with a lot of respect, and that's the reason why we got the Luke Skywalker that we did. I think that I'm most excited about the Rey movie.
Okay.
Because I want to see her rebuild the Order. I want to see her as a master, and I want to see this new era of Jedi, because that's one of my favorite things is the Jedi that we've really seen outside of THR and now KOTOR was Legend, so I'm not really going to talk about that. But aside from THR, the Jedi that we've really seen have all been rooted in this flawed thinking of what the Jedi is.
Right.
Rey is so removed from that.
Right. It's once again, it's new territory.
Yes, and like I definitely think that there's teachings that she could follow for what the Jedi is, who they're supposed to be, and all that. But without the flawed concepts that Ahsoka carries, the flawed concepts that she instilled in Luke, or probably instilled in Luke Skywalker, we haven't really seen him.
I'm sure there's still quote unquote like biblical texts that she'll find.
Well, yeah, there probably are. I mean, she has that entire collection of Jedi texts.
Right.
Like paper books are so rare at this point.
Right. Yeah.
One thing that I'm excited for is I think they actually had a tie-in to that in the Afra comics, which again, if you haven't checked out the Afra comics, go check it out. I love Dr. Afra. She's my favorite new character in the comics, and she was introduced back in like 2016. Amazing. I mean, Dr. Afra is awesome. She's like Indiana Jones.
Okay.
But like a little more evil.
Okay.
She cares a lot more about herself than Indy does. No, I think that I would be looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure one of the Jedi texts appeared in the last Afra comic. But yeah.
Just so you guys remember, we are doing an Across the Spider-Verse giveaway.
Yes.
Post up on Facebook and Twitter. We will be announcing the winner in 2 weeks. Comment hashtag Miles Morales on the post to be entered. And for a bonus entry, retweet or share. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Remember to leave us feedback. Give us ratings if you listen to our regular episodes. On
feedback, good or bad. We
Yeah, we're totally down for constructive criticism. Again, we're only a little more than a year into us doing the podcast. We've learned a lot.
Yes.
And I'm sure that there's a lot more that we can learn going forward.
Yes.
And we would love to figure out what works best for you guys.
And we definitely want to be dropping a lot more content soon.
Yes.
We hope you guys enjoy this little Star Wars special.
Yes. I certainly did.
We still got a little bit left of Force Week. As you, I figure you'd like that term.
Yeah, I love it.
So, yeah, have a great rest of your Force Week.
And may the Force be with you.
Good night.
Good night.
We have been the Cinema Asylum Podcast. You guys were awesome. Thanks for coming out. Good night.